everyone, it's Dr. Stephanie Wu with another segment of Woo You. Today we're answering a question from Lisa, and she writes, "Dear Dr. Wu, I am having a hard time hiring new employees. I live in a rural area. What are the best tactics to hiring in rural locations?" So Lisa, this is something that I have lots of experience with. I had 3 private practices and all 3 of them were in rural locations. One of them was in Lake Havasu. The population in Lake Havasu, Arizona is only 50,000 people. And one of our other locations in Parker, Arizona, there's only 3,500 people that live there. So I have lots of experience in rural locations. So the first thing is a lot of these employees that you're wanting to hire, they don't find out from the newspaper anymore. And that was one of the mistakes that we made in the beginning, is we put ads out in the newspaper, but we weren't really seeing a lot of return or people even dropping off resumes in person. So then we said, okay, well, instead of traditional marketing for when we're hiring, what are some other things we can do? So then we started putting out ads on things like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And those were a lot more successful for not only us to get applications, but it really was the type of person that we were looking for. So a lot of the potential employees are on social media a ton. So I'd absolutely recommend putting out an ad, even just a very small amount of money for a sponsored post on either Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn can really go a long way. It's not really difficult to manage if that's something that you don't know how to do or you're not comfortable with. I'm sure it's really easy for one of your existing employees to kind of help you with that, or you could always pay somebody, some sort of a digital marketing expert to help manage that ad for you. But that ended up getting a lot of different results. And you can set it up different ways. So if you put out the ad, you can say, apply online or apply in person. And it really just depends on your practice and what you are comfortable with. So for our practice, we didn't want to get applications online. We said you absolutely have to come in to drop off a resume. And I think that was really, really helpful because the front desk would tell us, oh, okay, this person dropped off their resume. And, they could give us a few of their initial comments on their first impressions with that person. I thought that was really, really helpful. So somebody that's actually taking the time to drive to your office, drop off a printed resume, I think really tells you that that person is going the extra step compared to somebody online that is just submitting their application that they might just have, or they're just filling out a few details. So that's something that was really successful for us. Now for other people in their practice, they're a lot more comfortable doing online interviews or looking at things online before contacting them. And that is another great way that you can attract and recruit new employees is, hey, apply online. Here's the list of questions you need to answer. These are the things you need to attach, whether it's a resume or CV, or maybe you want a letter of recommendation or a list of 3 references. And then you can kind of filter out from those and then maybe select your top 5 and then have them come in for an interview. Something else that worked out really well for us is when we would get an influx of resumes, we would look at them all and then we would have a phone conversation with them before we actually scheduled time for them to come in for an in-person interview. You can actually figure out a lot from a person just from talking to them on the phone. So if they sound very stressed out, very frazzled, maybe they don't talk the way that you're wanting them to, that can really be a way to kind of weed out some of these potential employees. So I would highly recommend, if you do have a bunch of resumes that you're trying to get through, then maybe having a phone interview or having someone within your office, maybe an office manager or a longtime employee, kind of help you sift out some of these resumes and kind of dial in which ones you actually want to have come into the office to interview. Something else I would recommend is putting all the things out that are really, really important to you and your brand and having that on the actual post. So for instance, for us, it was really important that the employee is honest and trustworthy. That was the number one thing that was important to us. Secondly, they did not need experience. So that's also something that I think a lot of potential employees, they get nervous about because they've never been in the eye care field before. They don't know what to expect. Maybe they've never worked for a doctor's office before. So that was also something that was really important to put in to the ad, that no experience is necessary. We will train the right person. And honestly, some of our best employees were people that had absolutely no interest in the medical field from beforehand, people that have never worked with the doctor's office before, had no knowledge of the eyeball at all. So some of our best employees were actually hairdressers, people that maybe went to school to become a hairdresser or a nail tech, and they ended up not liking it for whatever reason. And people that worked at restaurants because their people skills are really good and their conversational skills are really good. So some of our best employees actually were not even in the medical field or eye field at all. So putting that for us was really, really helpful in recruiting talent that maybe had no experience at all in the ocular world. So that would be another suggestion I would have for you. And then lastly, you can also put something in your office. So like a sign at the checkout that says, "We are hiring, inquire within," or "We are hiring for this position, no experience necessary, ask the doctor or ask the staff here." Because sometimes patients would see that sign when they were at the checkout counter paying after they ordered their glasses and contacts and things. And they would say, "Oh, I didn't know you were hiring. You know, what position are you hiring for?" And then maybe the staff would say, "Oh, we're actually looking for somebody at the front desk to help answer phones and check in patients." And they would say, "You know what? Oh my gosh, my sister would be great for that." Or, "Oh, you know what? My nephew is looking for a job and I think he might be a perfect fit." So just having that kind of advertisement inside of your own practice can really also help kind of recruit some talent that maybe they would have never known to ask about. So yeah, with newspaper ads, those are still effective in some places. In most cases, I would say they're not as effective anymore. Everybody's doing stuff online, and especially majority of the workforce that comes in for these entry-level positions are usually in the younger crowd. So they're on their phones a lot. They are on the internet a lot. They're on social media a lot. So getting them that exposure. Another thing that was really successful for us was Indeed. That's a major company. If you just type it in, you'll be able to see it. But that was another way that we had recruited people. Something great with that is not only does it have your post of kind of what you're looking for, the characteristics that are most important to you, but you can actually have them take these little tests. So if you want to make sure that they have proper communication skills or that they are a team player. So you can have them take these little assessments and then it kind of tells you what they scored on some of these different things. That can also help weed out some of the potential candidates if you have a whole bunch of them. I know in some of the bigger cities, if you put out an ad on Indeed, you could have hundreds of applications within like a 24-hour period. With a rural area, that's not the case. You could have the ad go out and you might get 10 people that apply within like a 1-week period. So it's a bit different depending on where you're practicing, but that's also a really great way to recruit new talent. So I hope that was helpful and good luck on hiring.
If you have a question and would like me to answer it, always free. You can email me at drwoo, so that's DRWOO @woou.org. So that is WOO, the letter U.org. So hope to hear from you soon, and we'll see you next time. Bye.